Postseason Live, presented by Fields Auto Group.
They are the two greatest words in sports. Game 7. And for Cubs fans, this could be extra special, as the Northsiders could end a 108-year drought with a third straight win over the Indians here in the World Series. First pitch just an hour away. We'll get you ready for the action over the next 60 minutes. And welcome into Cubs Postseason Live. It's our final pregame show of the season. It's been an epic Cubs season. I'm David Kaplan. He's Todd Hollandsworth. He's the Hall of Famer Ryne Sandberg. Okay, it's down to this. It's going to be intense. It's going to be epic. And one fan base is finally going to go, we got a championship. We're hoping it's the Cubs. You two are ex-players. Take me inside your minds.
This is the most anticipated Game 7, I think, in the history of the game. It's being reported that way. I absolutely believe it. I'm excited. I think Rhino and I, I've got playing day butterflies on the insides right now, which I haven't had in about 10 years.
It's got to be a good feeling, though.
It is. But I mean, it's nervous energy. It's good energy. It's like, you fought your way back to this, and that's what it, you think about the story of your season, and you start maybe to reflect back. You go back to your room last night, great victory in Game 6, and you're thinking about how we got here. Like, even the journey through this World Series, everybody was down. We're down 3-1. We've battled back. We've earned this. I mean, the great thing about Game 7s, it doesn't matter where you play this game. It doesn't matter whether it's in Cleveland or Chicago or the Moon. This is us versus you, and the winner is going to go home with a big fat smile on his face, and he's going to say, you know what, we got it done.
Now being 57 years old, I appreciate the heck out of this. I really do. I retired 19 years ago. As a player, you get into a routine. You play the game the certain way. When the game starts, you play the game. There's big games. There's big moments. But now myself, I mean, I woke up this morning same way. Game day. I wanted a schedule for myself. I even got a little 15-minute nap in there so I'd be ready for tonight. I mean, I'm game ready to go, ready for the first pitch. I think it's going to be pitch to pitch. I think the crowd's going to be amazing on both sides. And
it's going to be awesome.
It's going to be an awesome game.
It is. All right, we'd like you to get interactive with us. We do this each and every show a few different times. Go to your mobile, tablet, laptop, csnchicago.com/vote. No special app and no cost to you. We'll give you a question in a little bit. You'll see the results as they tabulate right on your screen. Now, inside Progressive Field, here is the fourth member of our team with our Coors Light Game Report. Here's Kelly Crow.
Thanks, Cap. The most anticipated World Series Game 7 in baseball history. A combined championship drought of 176 years between these two teams, and it is bound to end for one of them tonight. You couldn't have scripted it any better between the history and the storylines, and the ultimate prize is now so close that they can taste it. The stage doesn't get any bigger. The lights don't get any brighter, and for Madden's Club, this is one last opportunity to embrace that target and this opportunity to rewrite their history.
You guys look at it different from us. We're really relaxed, calm, loose. Obviously the jitters are going to happen probably the night before, but when we get to the ballpark, it's all business. It's time to go, do the same thing we did all year. We won 103 games. We're a good team. We're here for a reason, so go out there, play our game, we'll be fine.
So with all that's at stake, with the history of what's gone on, the young group that probably knows nothing about it, just going to come out and play their game tomorrow. I know they will. It's not going to be a whole lot of nerves that maybe some of the older guys like myself may put on ourselves. These guys will be loose and fun and be ready for battle.
Look, it's been 108 years since this organization's won, so if we're going to come back and win down 3-1, then what better way to do it, historically.
Taking center stage in this historical matchup, two Cy Young candidates in Hendricks and Kluber. The Indians ace is looking to become the first pitcher to win 3 World Series games since 1968. However, the Cubs are hoping that seeing Kluber on short rest a third time proves to be the charm.
You get second and third, fourth chances to have different approaches if it didn't work the first time, and you also see the way the ball moves, and based on some of those things you're able to kind of visualize before you even get to the plate what you're going to see.
It's win or go home. Everything's out the door tomorrow. It's you just bring it and do whatever it takes. And I keep saying I'm going to convince myself that he's not going to be as good as he was in Game 2 and not as good in Game 1 and just hit his mistakes.
As for Hendricks, he was the Cubs starter the night the team won their first pennant in decades, and he'll look to be the guy once again leading the Cubs to their first World Series title in over a century. It's something they're going to make a movie about, said David Ross, and for all of us, we're just waiting on the outcome of that film.
All right, thank you very much, Kelly. So here is our poll question. Again, csnchicago.com/vote. How would you describe your mood sitting at home as you get ready for Game 7? Anxious, confident, nervous, or a complete basket case? Okay, csnchicago.com/vote. All right, how would you guys vote, Ryan?
Basket case. No, you know what? I'm anxious.
That's where I'm at.
I got the pregame. I got the pregame butterflies as I would as a
Did
player.
it feel
and I
like
was anxious.
Does it feel like you were as a player?
Yeah, no question. Anxious because I just want to get the game started, and there's anticipation. Starting last night when I went to bed, wake up this morning, it lasts all day long. It grows as I walk down here 6 blocks to the stadium with those tens of thousands of fans around and the atmosphere.
Incredible.
And as a player and as a fan, waiting for the first pitch.
Mixed with confidence. I think that, Ryan, you'd admit
Absolutely.
to that. Listen, you've earned it as a player. You're a Hall of Famer. You know what this is all about. You walk into the building. Yeah, we have anxious butterflies, but you got a little swagger. You know what you've done. You know what you've accomplished. You know what's being expected of you tonight, and you're ready to take on the challenge. I mean, it comes down to that, and I think this group is as confident as I've ever seen them coming into this ball game. I don't know the end result of this game. I know what I feel in my belly, and I know what I've seen all season long. This Cubs team will respond. What I think is going to happen, sometimes it doesn't go that way, but the reality is they are ready. There's nothing any of us is going to say that's going to make Cubs fans.
Let the professionals handle it.
Well, and I meant that, and I really did when I tweeted that out. Let the professionals handle it, because this team has been so good this year at divvying up the responsibility. Rhino, you know what I'm talking about in that clubhouse. There is the weight of who is our hero, who's our captain, who's our leader. This group passes that around. If I say Bryant, you say Rizzo. If you say Rizzo, you say Contreras. If you say Contreras, I say, whatever.
We could all be right.
Right, and we could all be right. And that's my point about this. These guys are so good at just doing it together. I believe in this group, and I really, honestly, if they get beat, they get beat. But it's not because they didn't go out there tonight and they didn't prepare themselves for this moment.
And you're talking about the players. I'm a basket case myself. I was talking about myself. I didn't know we were talking about the team. These guys are having a blast over here.
Yeah, they are.
These guys have fun. This is what they've been waiting for and talking about since the first day of spring training. They talked about going to the World Series, so they're confident. I mean, they're going to go about their business. They're prepared, and they get to go out and, like what you're talking about, see who the hero is going to be, and that's for us to see. But they're going to go out and just be teammates and play their game and play a very solid game.
Yeah, I go anxious with a little bit of confidence splashed in there, because I am pretty confident. Let's go back inside. Let's take a look at our winner. Anxious is the winner of our poll question. So
Good
you guys
answer.
are all right there with us. By the way, this little nugget from Chris Kampka: pitchers to lead majors in ERA to start Game 7 of the World Series that season. It's the 4th time it's happened. Kyle Hendricks, Bob Gibson in 68, Sandy Koufax in 65, and Holly's old teammate Hal Newhouser in 45. All right, let's go back inside. Sorry, Holly. Let's go back inside. Here's Luke Stuckmeyer.
This is it. Game 7 and a chance to make history. And frankly, we've never seen a baseball game with this much anticipation. But Joe Maddon has had his players prepared for this all the way back to spring training in March, telling them to embrace the target and the pressure.
I really anticipate the same. On the bus, they were good. Driving over on the bus, I thought everybody was pretty cool. I really do anticipate the same. I'd be surprised if it's not. Again, tonight's game is going to be dictated by the starting pitching. That's really what it comes down to. If you pitch well, you give your guys a chance to get in the flow of the game. And I anticipate Kyle to pitch well. And I really do see us reacting well, especially after last night.
Tonight's Game 7 starter, Kyle Hendricks, is flying under the radar a little bit because of Corey Kluber's first 2 starts in the series. But that's just fine with Hendricks. He's used to it. Led the majors in ERA this year, but he's an 8th-round pick of the Texas Rangers. Cubs got him in that Ryan Dempster trade 4 years ago. Now, Joe Maddon loves his calm but calculated demeanor on the mound, and Hendricks is ready for the biggest start in Cubs history.
And this is the ultimate dream. You dream of getting to the World Series, winning the World Series, but when you're out in your backyard as a kid, playing Little League at the field with your friends, this is the moment you dream about. Game 7, 3-2, 2 outs, something like that, bottom of the ninth, But it's always Game 7 of the World Series. So I'm just going to embrace the opportunity like I have the rest of this postseason, honestly. Approach it like any other game, simple thoughts, the same old thing.
I don't know. I doubt it. The guy has no pulse out there when he's pitching. So, I plan on him being the same guy.
Everybody's always joking around with him, saying, "Well, there's Kyle," being loud again, being obnoxious, and cutting up, and he's just sitting there, stale face, straight face. He'll laugh and chuckle and hang out, but it definitely works in his favor. But it's the game, and it's always impressive for any pitcher to go out there and pitch under these circumstances.
And while most fans didn't want to tell us exactly how much money they spent, we do know that at least one guy spent $19,000 to sit in the first row behind the dugout for this game for one ticket. And StubHub released today that 60% of the tickets that they were selling for Game 7 were being purchased in Illinois, so you can almost guarantee there's going to be a lot of Cubs fans in the stands tonight at Progressive Field. Inside the ballpark, Luke Stuckmeyer-Cap will send it back out to you and the boys.
All right, thank you very much, Luke. Time for our Ameristar Casino Hotel starting lineups. Joe's going with the adage, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Same starting lineup except for the pitcher as in Game 6. Fowler in center, Schwarber's the DH, Bryant in the 3-hole at third, Rizzo cleans up at first, Zobrist the 5-hole hitter in left, Russell the 6-hole hitter at short, Contreras catches and hits 7th, Hayward in right field hits 8th, and Javier Baez starts at second base, and he will hit 9. Let's talk again about Kyle Schwarber, because any question yesterday that Rhino he might have had only one at bat over the weekend in Chicago, would that affect him? He walked, he hit a ball to the wall, he had a hit, and he looked like he was pretty dialed in.
He has good at-bats. He shows it every time. Like Holly talks about, he goes up there very relaxed, loose. Not a lot of fidgety or extra movement in there. He doesn't have to tap his shoes or do a whole lot of stuff to release energy. He's just relaxed from the get-go. He has a very good eye. He has a short stride. He keeps his hands back, and he covers the whole part of the plate for me. So he's a threat. I love him in the 2 spot, number of at-bats. So he's a guy that we like right there, and he can do some damage. He could be a big bat tonight.
Holly?
I'd go 1, 2, 4, 5. I'll expand on Schwarber right there. But what I love Fowler, I love Schwarber, and Rizzo and Zobrist right there. 4 of your first 5 hitters are left-handed going up against Kluber. Kluber's been good, but I feel like that's your best opportunity to score some runs tonight. If we get 3 of those 4 guys swinging the bats pretty well tonight, I think we'll do some damage up there, and I think it's a good shot. All 5 of those guys in your top 5 spots. I mean, again, it is a little lopsided. We talked about this last night. The guys at the bottom of the lineup struggle a lot more than the guys at the top of the lineup. But again, 4 of those 5 guys being left-handed because you got the 2 switch hitters, you can put some balls in motion. Fowler, he can hit and run. Zoe can hit and run. Some guys that can do some things. Remember, there were some opportunities to score up against Kluber so far in this postseason, particularly against the 2 starts we had against him. We just didn't situational hit very well against him. We got in there and we kind of got a little big at sometimes, almost like we thought we were going to string 3 or 4 hits together against him. Kluber hasn't done that yet this season. You've got to play smart with your at-bats when you get the runners on. That, to me, is going to be big tonight. When we get the guys on, that we play the game the right way, that we situational hit, and we understand what he's willing to give us. Meaning, if it's a ground ball to the right side, take that ground ball to the right side.
Right.
Don't get greedy. Don't act like because we had 13 hits last night that we're going to all of a sudden put it on him. Get an early lead and then open it up if you can do more damage.
All right, the 3, 4, 5, 6 hitters last night, the Cubs lineup, 11 for 19, and drove in, I believe, all 9 runs. 8 of the 9 runs scored. I mean, it was a magnificent performance.
It was, and that was right on time for this game tonight. The Cubs hitters come in with some confidence, riding on last night's game, feeling good about it. 3rd time around facing Kluber. Holly, talking about the left-handed hitters, what froze them in the first game and a little bit in the second game was that fastball right at their belt buckle that comes back over the inside corner. They've seen that.
In.
If they're mentally shortened up a little bit, they'll get to that pitch and put it in play like what you're talking about.
Right.
We need a lot of balls put in play, put some pressure on their defense, advance some runners with some runners on base with balls in play. And for the right-handed hitters in the lineup, he has an outside fastball that comes back over the outside part of the plate, one that comes in on his hands, and he has, with 2 strikes, he has a nasty slider to the right-handed hitter. So that's what they're up against. They've seen it third time around. They know what they're getting.
All right, let's talk about Addison Russell. Tied a major league record last night with 6 RBIs in a World Series game. Had other opportunities. I think he left 4 guys on where he could have set that record. He was magnificent. He got the break in the first inning with the fly ball that was misplayed between Naquin and Chisenhall. Then he hit a 434-foot home run for a grand slam. He was locked in on that.
Thunderous blow right there. And you think about that, Otero had just come into the ball game with the bases loaded, and you're saying, okay, does their bullpen settle things down and keep this game manageable? Absolutely not. Addison comes in ready to pounce, gets a fastball, and drives it out to center. The one thing that stands out for me, Rhino, and I get the privilege of watching him all the time and seeing him all the time, as do you. When he uses the middle of the field, and I know that's been a little cliche and we've used it a lot this postseason, but when you watch Addy hit, and you think back to his first real run this year that he got on with the RBIs, he was using the right field line, man. He was driving. I remember there was a series at Wrigley Field, I want to say early May. He must have hit 7 balls down the right field line in a week and drove in about 13 runs, it felt like. He's doing it again. That's exactly what I see. And he goes through these periods of time, where some of the younger hitters, they want to pull. You watch the head fly, and he'll get a little loose there on the inside part of the plate. But right now, where did the grand slam go? Straight away center field. He stayed on that fastball. Even the base hit that he got the other way, the thought was there. Go back 2 nights ago. Big at bat with guys on, lines out to right field. Now, granted, it was an out, but it was a great at bat. So when you watch Addy right now, he is locked in, he's seeing the ball, and he's using the big part of the field. I always feel like he's at his best when he does that.
I almost felt like the whole lineup had that approach last night. A lot of base hits up the middle. Rizzo, Zobrist, working up the middle. Baez got a base hit up the middle. I think that was the plan last night. That's important for tonight. But with this guy's moving fastball, you might be thinking up the middle, but you got to be ready and trust your eyes to react on something inside. Well, if it's inside boring in on you, get the head out, but also have plate coverage and take it the other way if you have to.
All right, let's take a look at Terry Francona's lineup card that he'll turn in at home plate tonight. Here we go. He's got Santana leading off at DH, Kipnis in the 2-hole again at second, Lindor, the 3-hole hitter at short, Napoli's at first, Ramirez, the 5-hole hitter at third, Chisenhall in right, Rajai Davis replaces Tyler Naquin in center, Coco Crisp, the 8-hole hitter in left, and Roberto Perez, the catcher, will bat ninth. So a little bit of a change. No Tyler Naquin. They had some adventures out there last night that cost them 2 runs.
Well, Rajai Davis, I actually was surprised he wasn't in there last night. I knew that Naquin was playing and he's had a nice year. He replaced Marlon Byrd when Marlon Byrd got basically suspended from baseball. And so he was a nice addition. They called him up. I thought there might have been an opportunity there. He hasn't been putting together the best of at-bats. Had a horrible game defensively out there in the outfield. You can't allow that to happen in Game 6 of the World Series in any way. That is just straight-up miscommunication from the get-go. That's not even ability. That's not a physical error. That's a mental error, and you do not want to see that on the biggest stage. I am not surprised that he's out of the lineup tonight, but again, strictly he was probably in there because Arrieta was going, and they were trying to get as many lefties in there as possible.
And Davis in the lineup, he gets on base. He's a base stealer. He's got speed, so he'll add that element that the Hendricks and Contreras will have to deal with, but keep him off base, that's the key for Davis.
Yeah, you got to keep him off base, but you do have a guy in Contreras who controls the running game.
He does. He certainly can. But again, this is a big game tonight. So, we talked about this a little bit yesterday. As long as those throws are timely and appropriate, I'm all for it. But again, we don't want to see balls. He loves to throw, and maybe just a little too much of that in this World Series, throwing to bags, because I don't know. I feel like the margin in this ball game is pretty close.
Right.
I don't want to see one down the right field line. I do
not
not need to see that tonight. Yes, that is something that gives me a little anxiety, but I love the kid's arm. I love his gusto.
We need your help during tonight's game. We would like you, please, to tweet photos, videos of what you're doing as you watch this game tonight. Use the hashtag Cubs Talk. We'll have some of them on the post-game show, hopefully a happy post-game show. But these are moments, folks. This is epic. So please, again, the hashtag is Cubs Talk. We want your videos. We want your photos. Send them in. We will use some of them on the post-game show. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. A whole lot more to do. Pitching matchup. We got keys, key performers, and a lot more. Be right back.
Cubs Pregame Live is presented by Fields Auto Group. Fields matters because you matter. See Fields first. FieldsAuto.com.
I'm Dan Fields of the Fields Auto Group. We've prepared a Joe Madden Signature Edition vehicle. It will be raffled off at the end of the season, with the proceeds going to many of Joe's favorite charities.
But not before I have the pleasure of driving it to and from the ballpark. Thank you, Dan, and everyone at Fields Auto Group for this special vehicle and for making this all possible.
For official raffle rules and complete details on how you can win this Joe Madden signature vehicle, go to FieldsAuto.com.
It is an honor for Fields Auto Group to help good causes like Cubs Charities and Misericordia. Fields matters because you matter.
Look at it, lads. New York City. Just doesn't get any better than this.
Actually, it does. With Grubhub, you can get the best foods delivered anywhere.
Gluten-free pad thai here for Seamus.
I am Seamus.
Gluten-free?
Yeah. Can't even taste the difference. Oh, you gotta lock up that front tire.
The Chicago Cubs are in the World Series, and Wrigleyville Sports is the place for all your official gear. World Series t-shirts, sweatshirts, and the official locker room cap worn by the team, champagne not included. Pins, flags, collectibles, and toys for Cubs fans of any age. Everything you need to celebrate the Cubs' first pennant since 1945. Visit our store across from Wrigley Field or WrigleyvilleSports.com now.
This one has amazing gas mileage, but I think this one is more my style. But then again, maybe this one is more my style. What to do?
Now, you know, at Continental Motors, there's a 3-day exchange policy on all used cars.
Wow, 3 days, really?
Yeah, 124 hours.
No, 3 days is 72 hours.
Well, not if you're using the metric system.
No, still the same.
Even if you carry the...
72 hours.
So then 3 days.
Grab your phone and come check out our unbeatable online selection at ContinentalMotors.com.
All right, it's 37 minutes until the start of the game. There's still time to give Feldco a call, 866-4FEL-DCO. We'll give you another chance to get interactive with our show in just a couple of minutes. Grab your mobile, tablet, or laptop. Go to csnchicago.com/vote. Again, no cost to you and no special app to download. We'll get you another question in a little bit. Welcome back, Cubs Postseason Live, pregame style. He's Ryan Sandberg, the Hall of Famer. He's 96 National League Rookie of the Year. He's Todd Hollandsworth, former Cub as well. All right, time for our Apt Electronics and Appliances pitching matchup. We got a good one. It's Kyle Hendricks for our Cubs. Corey Kluber, who's won a Cy Young and may win another one this year. He goes for the Indians. He's making his third start of the World Series. Again, pitching on 3 days rest. Third in 8 days. More on him in a moment. Hendricks pitched in Game 3 last Friday. Went 4 1/3. Did not give up a run on 6 hits and 2 walks. Didn't have his best command, guys, but he didn't give up a run either. He battled.
Well, he didn't have his best command, but again, what he's done so typically well this year is bend but don't break. And again, that's what you saw, and I think that tonight you're going to see an Indians lineup that's going to try to take the same approach against him. They're going to fight, they're going to battle, they're going to grind. Remember, in that start, the Indians were able to get 3 of those 5 innings that he pitched, that he started, I should say, because he only went 4 1/3, the leadoff guy on 3 times. The other inning, they got the second hitter on, and the other inning was a clean inning. But what does that tell you? He was off a little bit. There was a walk in there. There were some hits. But he managed those innings, which he's always done. You want the ball on the ground. He knows how to not make that mistake out over the plate, and I always think that's key. Let's also remember one other thing. This is his first start on the road, so watch that first inning carefully.
I stick with my philosophy. Pitching, starting pitching, and defense sets a tone for the game. So it's up for Kyle Hendricks to establish the strike zone down in the zone, working at the knees with the pitches that he has. Infielders are coming to play, making the plays. Right. Could turn a key double play in there somewhere, but pitching and defense goes a long way with setting the tone, and it really sets a tone for the offense also.
All right, time for you to get interactive with us again. Here's the question this time. Who has the advantage? Corey Kluber, third time against the Chicago Cubs in the World Series. Third start in 8 days. Who has the advantage? Does Corey Kluber have the advantage, or do Cubs hitters have the advantage seeing him for the third time? Again, go to csnchicago.com/vote and you can cast your vote and see them tabulate right on your screen. How do you vote?
Oh, the hitters most definitely have the advantage. That's not a guarantee of results. I hope that's not what we're leading to. But again, as a hitter, you see somebody 3 times in a 7-day stretch, you're going to feel confident. We talk about those butterflies that we have a lot of times when we come into a ball game tonight. You have butterflies at the beginning of the ball game. You're going up against Corey Kluber. The butterflies, they're not flapping their wings nearly as much the third time. Why? You're comfortable. You know the arm slot. You know where he releases the ball. You know his timing mechanism in between pitches. All of that should be good for Cubs hitters. They know what they're going up against tonight. As I said, listen, this guy is one of the best in the game. It doesn't guarantee your results, but as far as the confidence and what to expect, that's covered on Cubs hitters' side. They know what they're going to get from Corey Kluber tonight.
Well, exactly. I mean, hitters love to have a history with a pitcher.
Sure.
They don't remember. I remember at bats that I faced pitchers, and I've been out of the game for 19 years, but I remember how different pitchers faced me and what they had and what it looked like coming in, what the fastball did. That's the first priority. What's his out pitch? What's his breaking ball do? So these hitters, third time around, I think, and we saw it the first game, a lot of non-swings from the fastball, moving fastball, some bad swings on the slider. Third time around, definitely Cubs hitters have the advantage.
What makes Kluber so good? Because he's not sitting up there at 99. Like Randy Johnson would overpower you. You'd be like, I couldn't hit him. He was just that overpowering. Kluber's just really, really good.
All right, well, I'm going to give you the answer here. It's not one. I mean, here's the deal. Rhino, I think you're going to agree with me. He commands his fastball to both sides of the plate. That is, usually we're typically eliminating one side. We say he can't go away or he can't go in. We can look to one side of the plate. That gives us an advantage as a hitter. What has Corey Kluber done this postseason in 2 starts against the Cubs? He's thrown fastballs to both sides of the plate. He's commanded them. He's also thrown the 2 different breaking balls that you need to be able to throw. One for a strike and one for a wipeout. And part of the problem is we've got some hitters that are playing both right now that have chased that wipeout a few too many times. And the ability to throw the get-me-over curveball, slider, which has been very, very big in his game planning because he changed up in Game 2 from what he was in Game 1, helps him set his sequencing up. Now, the wipeout slider, we got to figure out how to lay that. We'll just lay off that altogether. But we've got some aggressive hitters right now that are being fooled by the spin. He's throwing enough breaking balls for strikes that he's adding to that, moving it a little farther off the outside part, and we're watching some guys chase out there.
Well, you know what? Some of those get-over breaking balls for strikes, those are balls like last night that now, the third time around, we could whack those balls. We're not going to take those and get fooled by them and let him get to that nasty one. So we don't want a guy like him to get ahead of the hitters. They don't want to get behind in the count. But also I think what makes him effective is everything's moving, nothing's straight. He's got a lot of movement, so the hitters are really hitting the moving target to the extreme of breaking stuff, and even his fastball with that movement.
Would you agree? I think he's got a little Arrieta in him. Do you see the similarity?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Arrieta, even when he sprays it around a little bit,
the movement,
nothing straight. So the mistakes, the ball still have some break to it. It's not a cross seamer straight down the middle with these 2 pitches that we're talking about. That makes them tough because it's a moving target that they're trying to put the bat on the ball.
All right, there's the winner right there on your screen. Overwhelmingly, people believe Cubs hitters had the advantage. Doesn't mean that's going to work out in the Cubs' favor, but we'll see. Got to take another timeout. We'll come back. It's going to be epic. We'll take you up to first pitch, and then we'll see you after the ball game. As soon as the game ends, flip over here to CSN. Be right back.
Welcome to the Apt Showroom, one of the top appliance retailers in the U.S. Explore our full line of Thermador appliances that will inspire and empower you to imagine design and bring to life your dream kitchen. Our team of product experts will work with you, your builder, and designer from the very first sketch to the very last detail. Discover how Thermador is personalized to the way you cook and bring the ingredients of entertaining to life. Visit us at Apt, pleasing people since 1936.
When you visit Canals BMW, your toughest decision is which BMW will you drive home? A sporty BMW convertible? BMW sedan? BMW coupe? Or one of these BMW high-performance luxury models? And of course, everybody can get into one of these beauties. Canals BMW. Outstanding selection, competitive pricing, always a great decision.
Hockey's biggest stars face off on NHL Center Ice, bringing you up to 40 games a week no matter where you live. Watch your favorite teams and players light the lamp, coast to coast, all season long.
Oh, the move by Malkin, he scored!
And paired with NHL Network, it's your season ticket to the most hockey on TV. The game lives where you do. Order NHL Center Ice now and don't miss another moment of action. Call 1-800-GET-SPORTS.
Talk is cheap. Is your lawyer getting you the results that you and your family deserve? For over 29 years, I've worked hard to get my clients the results that they expect and deserve. We don't charge any fee unless we get you a settlement. Call our office 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. With over 10,000 satisfied clients and millions of dollars in settlements and verdicts, our results speak for themselves. Call me now and we'll fight for you.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you once upon a time, and you can pick anything you want. Golf with Rory Sabatini to anything.
Once upon a time, 2016 Chicago Cubs won the World Series. that's all that's on my mind.
And you will be getting the ball to start the game, my friend. That was Kyle Hendricks in our inside look when I gave him that choice. I said to him, you can do anything you want. What would it be? He goes, once upon a time, the Chicago Cubs, the 2016 Cubs, won the World Series. So we'll find out. He gets that epic chance to start the game. Let's talk about the Cubs bullpen. There was so much consternation last night. John Smoltz on the broadcast to, a lot of the pundits, oh my God, what are you doing bringing Chapman in the 7th inning? After the game, Joe Maddon said, we lose, we're out. I was extinguishing them as best I could with my guy. What is your guys' thoughts 24 hours later on Chapman, his availability? Chris Bosio said he can go 40 to 50 pitches.
Oh, and that's fine. I don't think you really get the answer to this question until tonight and see how this ultimately plays itself out. My impression inside the baseball world, most people are going to say the same thing. It seemed like it was a little early given the score of the game. That's it, plain and simple. It's not understanding what desperation is or what an elimination game is, Rhino. I don't think that this was, fans freaking out or baseball analysts overreacting. It's just understanding what that moment means and what the score of the game means. Most guys are saying there's a defense to it in that, what about the rest of the guys in that bullpen? Because what does that lead you to in Game 7? What's the storyline in Game 7? If you don't trust them in Game 6, do you not trust them in Game 7? And I think that's the implication that maybe you have left over, is that if Joe Maddon isn't going to trust those guys in that pivotal moment there, because he didn't show that in Game 5, he went straight to Chapman, and if again with a bigger lead in Game 6, you're still not willing to go to those guys, what does that mean for a Game 7? Who's available? Do the guys in the bullpen trust their manager?
Well, you know what? When Chapman says, and they say that he can throw 40 to 50 pitches, he threw 42 pitches in 2 2/3.
Right.
So if we want him for 4 outs, 5 outs, 40 pitches will cover that easily. That's a good sign. But I think we also have John Lester laying in the weeds here as a guy. If he goes 2 innings, now we're asking Hendricks to go 5, 6, and then it's pretty comfortable. Could be pretty comfortable there. Got Montgomery, who's throwing the ball well. But I think all in all, when you're talking about World Series and the Cubs' history, I think you go with the guys that your gut says, and the guys that are hot and guys that are throwing the ball well.
Check your ego at the door. I mean, that's important. You've made that point, and I know that you made it earlier today in regards to Chapman pitching, but that's the reality. What postseason baseball is all about is checking your ego at the door. I've said it repeatedly since we started the playoffs. It's the best representation of team baseball. This is a profession. Guys, they work, they collect checks, they've got other motives that are driving them sometimes on a daily basis.
Endorsements.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. But this is the best representation, and this is one of the best teams I've honestly ever witnessed, and I'm talking through my playing days.
I second that.
Right, through my playing days, but I just want people to understand that when I say check your ego at the door, this team's very good at doing that. They've had no issue with that. They've stepped aside for other guys. They said, okay, it's your turn to be the hero. Go ahead, be him. My turn will come back around. And Joe Maddon has made that available. So I don't panic about this move at all, just going to Chapman or, guys being looked over as far as the guys down in the bullpen, because the reality is this. You are trying to win something. The question that you have is, how are you going to piece it together in a Game 7?
It's going to be interesting to see when Joe plays that card. But again, it gets back to what you've talked about every game. Early run scoring for the Cubs.
Makes a lot of those decisions much more easier with some run support. No question about it, or with the lead. So once again, run support, very important. We got a lineup that's feeling pretty good about themselves, and they're facing a pitcher 3rd time around it all lines up pretty good for me on the offensive side of things.
All right, back inside Progressive Field, Ben Zobrist with Kelly Krull.
Well, Ben, I know you were on this stage last year, not a Game 7, but what is the most difficult part about a closeout game?
It's just trying not to think about the end result. Even if you have a lead, you don't want to think about the game being over yet, because it's not over till it's over. So you got to really stay focused and stay in that moment. And these are some of the hardest times to do that.
I know this is basically every baseball player's dream to be on this stage, but is there any way to prepare yourself for the wave of emotions you're going to feel when you first take the field?
No, I actually anticipated being very similar to the last few days. It's our backs have been against the wall the last couple games, and you know what? It doesn't bother us. We're obviously just playing each game one at a time, and we're excited to get a chance to try to get at Kluber one more time. So, this is it. Obviously, this one would be for all the marbles. So, we're not counting our chickens or anything like that. We're just focused on, like I said, staying in the moment.
You mentioned Kluber. A lot's been made about seeing him a third time around on short rest, but what do you think is the key to getting to him early?
Well, he's on, twice in a row here, he's on 4 days rest. So we anticipate him being not quite as sharp, leaving some more balls over the plate, and if we have a good approach, I think we can get to him early. That's kind of what we did with Tomlin last night. I don't think anybody was trying to do too much, but then you get a big homer in the first by KB, and kind of after that we rolled a little bit those first few innings. So we anticipate similar mistakes being made, and we just have to take advantage of them.
All right, well, last but not least, I know you're locked in right now, but for a day like this, a game of this magnitude that you've told me before may only come around once in a lifetime, is there anything aside from your normal routine that you do just to remember this night?
No.
Nothing?
Not until afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah, right now it's business as usual. It's, focusing on the routine that you've had all season long and all postseason long, and really every day the only major thing that's different is when we get in our huddle before a stretch. We talk about one or two particular guys, and today it was David Ross. So last day of his career. So we want him to go out with a bang, and we're excited to get a chance to do that for him.
Absolutely, that's awesome. Well, Ben, I hope we're talking to you in a champagne-filled locker room here in a few hours. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Guys.
All right, tons of Cub fans, thousands, have made their way to Cleveland. They bought out a Sbarro and a Burger King at the rest stop first into Ohio. Luke Stuckmeyer caught up with a bunch of them. We'll hear from Luke when we come back. It's Cubs Postseason Live right here on CSN.
Dirty old furnace. Call Four Seasons.
Dirty furnace? Clean it up with a Four Seasons furnace tune-up. Lower utility bills, increase furnace lifespan, and guarantee a breakdown-free season for only $89.95.
For all the right reasons, call 866-4 Seasons.
Did you know slow internet can actually hold your business back? Say goodbye to slow downloads, slow backups, slow everything. Comcast Business offers blazing fast and reliable internet that's 10 times faster than slow internet from the phone company. Say hello to internet speeds up to 150 megabits per second. And add phone and TV for only $34.90 more a month. Call today. Comcast Business. Built for business.
In Chicago, some things just go together, like front porches and blue W's, bricks and ivy, Waveland Avenue and souvenirs, Jake and State Farm. Like home and auto insurance with State Farm, they just go together, and they save you time and money. Just another way we're here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today.
I'm Dan Fields of the Fields Auto Group. We've prepared a Joe Madden Signature Edition vehicle. It will be raffled off at the end of the season with the proceeds going to many of Joe's favorite charities.
But not before I have the pleasure of driving it to and from the ballpark. Thank you, Dan, and everyone at Fields Auto Group for this special vehicle and for making this all possible.
For official raffle rules and complete details on how you can win this Joe Madden signature vehicle, go to fieldsauto.com.
It is an honor for Fields Auto Group to help good causes like Cubs Charities and Misericordia. Fields matters because you matter.
All right, they're getting the playing surface and the mound ready for tonight's Game 7. The Cubs and the Cleveland Indians at Progressive Field in Cleveland, Ohio. A lot of Cub fans have made their way out here, even if they don't have a ticket, to be part of what they hope is history for the city of Chicago. Luke Stuckmeyer has more.
All right, thanks, Cap. Of course, Game 7 is also about the fans of these two teams who have gone 176 years combined without a championship. Now, before the gates opened, we went outside the ballpark looking for Cubs fans. We found diehards and dead presidents.
The last time they won the World Series, I was the president in 1908. And, of course, that was that wonderful double-play combination. Tinkers to Evers to Chance. Three-finger Mordecai Brown throwing for the Cubs. And it's time to win another World Series championship.
Any way we can get you to run for president again next week.
I'll run if you'll run with me, all right? I'll make the speeches, you raise the money.
Me, you, and Rizzo.
Bully!
Go Cubs! Go Cubs! You got 4 tickets
to World
Series. Game 7.
Right.
Cubs and Indians.
Right.
I mean, that's the best ticket you ever held in your hand?
That's right. We did it for rocks. Just remember that. Our friend died of pancreatic cancer.
And you got tickets.
And he said, how will we know he's around when the Cubs win the World Series? And they're going to win it today.
This is going to get emotional, isn't it?
Yeah, we were at the game together when they clinched against LA, and that was already an emotional night. I mean, there were people crying in the streets. It was a combination of Super Bowl and Woodstock, and I don't know how to describe it. It was just great.
Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go! Go Cubs, go!
Last night, about the first inning when Chris Bryant went yard, I kind of knew it was going to happen. So I got on StubHub, I emptied my savings account, and I drove here at 9 o'clock this morning and been sitting here ever since about 12 o'clock.
You a Cub fan, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah? How long you been sitting out here?
2 hours.
2 hours? You going to see the Cubs win the World Series tonight?
Yes.
You excited?
Yeah.
We're going to win, sir. It's a demand. We're going to win.
Not the whole sum.
I like the confidence. And while most fans didn't want to tell us exactly how much money they spent, we do know that at least one guy spent $19,000 to sit in the first row behind the dugout for this game for 1 ticket. And StubHub released today that 60% of the tickets that they were selling for Game 7 were being purchased in Illinois. So you can almost guarantee there's going to be a lot of Cubs fans in the stands tonight at Progressive Field. Inside the ballpark, Luke Stuckmeyer, Cap will send it back out to you and the boys.
All right, so check out our guy Kendall Gill, our great Bulls analyst. He is in full game uniform, full uni, ready for tonight's game at his home in Chicago. So, and there's plenty of you out there like that. Again, make sure you tweet us, you send us your videos, your pictures using the hashtag CubsTalk. Welcome back to Cubs Postseason Live. He's Ryan Sandberg, the Hall of Famer. He's Todd Hollingsworth. I'm David Kaplan. Let's talk about what this would mean for fans. Because Theo Epstein, I saw today, and he said, look, in Boston, he said, I knew it'd be big. And then I drove around when our plane landed. He goes, we're coming in. And I see all these people in cemeteries as we're going by with Red Sox hats, pennants, balls, helmets. He said collectibles of all kinds. He said it was unbelievable. He goes, and at that moment really kind of made him emotional to see what it meant to so many people. I can promise you it'll be that or bigger here.
Well, and I've told you that's where I get choked up. I mean, listen, I played in the World Series. I know what this stage is like. I certainly understand what winning is all about. But at the same time, what I feel is this fan base, this incredible passion and love, obviously, not only for their team, for their town, but for the lost relatives, the length, the story, the history. I get it all. And when I hear people just start to speak from the heart about how much this means to somebody they've lost or somebody who's clinging or hanging in there just to see this happen, I get it, man. It hits home with me, man. I get teary-eyed about it as well. But I'll tell you what, you asked the question, so I want to answer it. What's it going to be like when they win? Yeah, I think the the doctor's office is going to go out of business here. I mean, I think blood pressure is going to go down in Chicago. I think people are going to be healthier. I think people are going to be nicer. I think a lot of things are going to change in Chicago when this team finally wins.
I agree with that. I think we almost have to experience it to even see what it's going to be like, because it would be hard to imagine. It really would. But Chicago's a very special city. I think it would help the city in a lot of ways, bring everybody together. And this baseball team is a very special group. They're the right guys to get the job done. I've been saying that all year.
Would you admit to me? I mean, because I see it this way. Like, part of this losing in this history, there's anger in there as well. I mean, emotional anger, and I get that. And I say that, partly, because I think it's funny about the blood pressure, but I mean that honestly, respectfully. I just think, generally speaking, if this were to finally happen, people would actually sit back and go,
right. I think it'd be a happier place.
It happened. There you go. Right.
Happier place. We'll take a timeout. We got to get you keys to the game, key performers, and then get you off to baseball. We'll be right back. You're watching CSN.
Here comes for right now. We're getting a hit.
The three-pointer. 1, no money down. 2, no payments for 90 days. 3, no interest for 72 months. At McGrath City Hyundai, when you do the math, you'll choose McGrath. McGrath City Hyundai. Give us a shot.
You've waited long enough to replace your old windows, siding, and doors. Now it's time to call the Midwest's leading home renewal company.
Call 866 for Feldco.
Right now, save 20% on all energy-efficient windows, siding, and doors. Plus, no money down and no interest until 2018.
20% off all Feldco products, and soon. Call now.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
This rusty mess isn't going anywhere. Don't trust it to just any cleaner. Trust CLR. CLR makes quick work of the toughest jobs, dissolving crusty white buildup so your shower runs like new. CLR cuts through hard water buildup and helps keep your washer running clean. CLR also earned the EPA's Safer Choice seal, so it's safer for your family. Trust the power of the CLR family and trust your clean to CLR. CLR is available at these fine retailers.
You know the feeling. The rush of every roll, every flip, sip, bite, note, and night. You know the feeling. Get it at Ameristar.
The Slam Dunk. Drive a 2017 Santa Fe Sport for just $179 a month. It's a slam dunk at McGrath City Hyundai. When you do the math, you'll choose McGrath. McGrath City Hyundai. Give us a shot.
It's time for Built for Business, presented by Comcast Business. Tonight we're looking at the Indians lineup, and the last time they played in Game 7 of a World Series, that was against the Marlins in 1997, a game they lost 3-2 in 11 innings. Cleveland managed just 6 hits, 2 by Tony Fernandez. Jim Thome, 1 for 4 in the contest. Charles Nagy gave up the game-winning hit to Edgar Renteria to give Florida their first World Series title. Comcast Business, built for business. And welcome back on Cubs Postseason Live here on CSN. He's Todd Hollingsworth. He's Ryan Sandberg. I'm David Kaplan. Let's talk about the Indians bullpen. That is the big X factor for Terry Francona. He has Miller, Shaw, Cody Allen all on full rest.
Yeah, he does. And I think all 3 of those guys could probably go 2 innings. So do the math. You can shorten that thing up and back it down to where you're looking at Kluber. If he doesn't have it for some reason, and you start to see this thing slip away. And it might be the key to this game in both directions, which manager jumps first into his bullpen. He's got those weapons down here. It's pretty specific. Joe's is a little bit more up in the air as far as the sequencing of the guys coming out of the bullpen. I think you know that Andrew Miller's pitching tonight, regardless of the circumstances, and then you work from there, the other 2 guys being right-handed, Shaw and Allen.
The other thing I like is the Cubs hitters have faced these guys in the last week. It's fresh in their mind how they're going to throw them, what they've got, so there'll be no mystery there. So I like that part of it as far as the second, third time around with the Cubs hitters against the Indians bullpen.
The other thing is, I know those guys are great. They're elite, and the Indians are here because of them in large part. but none of them have a 0.00 ERA for the season. You can get to these guys. You just got to be patient.
Well, right, but the other thing is that they're bullpen guys, and the thing about it is, you can't treat them like they're starters, and I think that's part of it. What Terry Francona's so successfully done is use them in 25, 30, 35 pitch increments.
Right.
Yeah, he's only letting you see so much.
They get one shot.
They're not getting worn down. You don't get 2 looks at them. If you're going to get them, you got to get them. Here's the one thing, Cubs fans, pay attention to this. Now, we've talked an awful lot about Andrew Miller, but here's where that advantage is. We talked about how the Cubs lineup is set up, right? Look back up to the top. Your one hitter, your 2-hitter, your 4-hitter, and your 5-hitter. Left-handed tonight, right? That's where I think there's a key matchup and a key opportunity against Allen and against Shaw. The other 2 guys, not Andrew Miller, the other 2 guys, they're righties. We got our 4 best lefties who are swinging the bat really well right now against those guys, and I really think there's a key opportunity late in the ball game to get a big hit from our guys.
All right, we will see. It will be epic. It's right around the corner. We'll come back. These guys will give you the keys to the game. We'll pick our key performers and get you off inside. We'll be right back on CSN.
This Cubs Injury Report is brought to you by ATI Physical Therapy, taking physical therapy to a higher level. Ask your doctor about ATI Physical Therapy. Get there.
When you visit Canals BMW, your toughest decision is which BMW will you drive home? A sporty BMW convertible? BMW sedan? BMW coupe? Or one of these BMW high-performance luxury models? And of course, everybody can get into one of these beauties. Canals BMW. Outstanding selection, competitive pricing, always a great decision.
Don't miss Sports Talk Live on CSN. David Kaplan leads a roundtable on the day's hottest topics. Sports Talk Live, presented by Chevy Silverado. Weeknights at 6 on CSN.
For a truly great sandwich, choose Mr. Submarine. With only the tastiest meats, cheeses, and garden-fresh veggies on Toronto bakery bread, dive into deliciousness with Mr. Submarine.
I've always believed that caring for families is the best way to keep our community healthy and safe, which is why I do things like provide opportunities for children to learn through the Reading Buddies program, help fund child safety programs, and give to the homeless. It's also why I got into personal injury law. It gives me the opportunity to help people at a time of tremendous loss, because helping injured people win justice is its own reward.
Now playing exclusively on DirecTV Cinema.
What are they?
They learn, like us.
Identify.
There's a leader. You need to find him.
Okay, spread out.
Those are our positions. Something's off. They had us, but while she was there, they let us walk. Why?
Because they're trying to work out if I'm one of them or not.
Yeah, so are we. Kill Command. Now playing exclusively on DirecTV Cinema.
Earlier today, the Cubs Twitter account sent out this photo of an excuse letter for their fans. It says in part, please excuse blank from class, work, or other responsibilities on Wednesday, November 2nd, 2016. Cubs are playing in Game 7 of the World Series. And if you are not familiar with sports narratives, well, it's kind of a big deal. Hopefully, they will need to send out another excuse note for tomorrow. All right, time for Holly's Keys to the Game, brought to you by the Fields Auto Group. Take it away, Holly. Time 28.
All right, here we go. Cross that bridge. Now we know who's starting tonight. Kyle Hendricks doing a fantastic job all season long. What is the bridge going to be between Kyle Hendricks and Chapman? It's undeniable. Again, we've talked about it. We think we know who's going to pitch in this ball game, but it probably will be key in some way to see how this game ultimately breaks itself down. There are some variables there. We know the Indian side of it, but we've got to figure out the Cubs side of it, and Joe Maddon's going to have to manage this one tight to get through those middle innings. He knows he's got Chapman there for, again, 40 to 45 pitches tonight, which is huge, but you got to get there somehow. And remember, Hendricks, 4th postseason starts. He's gone 20 total innings, 20.2. What does that tell you? He's been a 5-inning guy so far, so you're going to have to find a way to get to Chapman. 2-out RBIs. Rhino, I always believe these kind of games, man, comes down to big hits. What 2-out RBIs represent is a hit in those situations. It's not about errors. It's not about missed pop-ups. You usually don't see them in games like this. It's the guy that drives in the guy standing on second base in the 5th inning with 2 outs. It's a big base hit. It's a big at-bat. The way our guys are swinging it right now, I love it. I think that we're going to come through with a few of those tonight, and a lot of times they win ball games. And the last one I just talked about before we went to break, I'll bring it back up again. Cubs bats versus that Indians bullpen. We keep thinking that, oh boy, they've got this incredible. They do. Certainly showing an awful lot of respect to the Indians bullpen. They've done a fantastic job this year. But the bottom line is this. There is some vulnerability there. We've talked about knowing Kluber. How about knowing the Indians bullpen? We've seen a lot of these guys. The way our lineup is stacked tonight, I think there's some opportunity. Probably minus Miller because he makes me nervous, but it's probably because I'm left-handed too. But the other 2 guys being right-handed guys, I think there's a real opportunity there.
Rhino.
Well, the Cubs are looking for a couple of heroes, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 heroes. They have a lot of guys that have that capability. Hendricks with the ball, bullpen, middle guy, bridge guy, Chapman, a couple defensive gems. Who's going to swing the bat? That could be 2 or 3 or 4 guys. So who's going to be the hero? I look for 3 or 4 guys to step up and be those big guys that will look at the highlights, and this was a key of the game because they all have a chance to be that guy.
You guys played, you won a World Series, you've been in the playoffs, you're in the Hall of Fame. I gotta believe the 3 of us are identical in this. It's gonna be the most intense sporting experience we've ever watched.
I would totally agree with that. No question about that.
Is this pregame show almost over?
Yeah.
You know what?
We gotta get in there.
Well, we're totally involved in golf with this Cubs thing. We have for years. I mean, and the fans out there, I mean, we're all in the same boat.
It's incredible. All right, key performers. I won yesterday.
Well, hurry
I
it up.
get to go first. I'm going to take Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, he had to make do on that, right? The Rizzo Foundation was about ready to disown you.
Yes.
I'm going Kyle Schwarber, a.k.a. Trey Chata. You listening at home, Trey? Yeah, that's a shout-out, brother. Go ahead.
I'm going Chris Bryant, right-handed bat. I think he'll sneak up. He's a streaky hitter. He's hot right now. I think maybe Kluber might relax. Here's a right-handed bat up there. And Chris Bryant swinging a good bat, so I see some damage from him.
All right, let's see if we jump the Indians early. Don't forget, as soon as that game ends, we will have all the celebration if the Cubs win. We'll have a look back if they don't. We would like you with us here as soon as the ball game ends. We'll take you right back inside. Kelly and Luke will be all over the field. So Cubs Postseason Live is the spot to be as soon as the final out of the World Series is made. You won't miss a thing. You'll have it all right here on CSN. Thank you so much for pre-gaming with us, for watching Cubs Postseason Live. For Todd Hollingsworth, for Ryan Sandberg, our great crews here in Cleveland and back in Chicago, I'm David Kaplan. It's going to be epic, folks. The Cubs and the Indians. Go Cubs. We'll see you after the ball game.
I'm Dan Fields of the Fields Auto Group. We've prepared a Joe Madden Signature Edition vehicle. It will be raffled off at the end of the season with the proceeds going to many of Joe's favorite charities.
But not before I have the pleasure of driving it to and from the ballpark. Thank you, Dan, and everyone at Fields Auto Group for this special vehicle and for making this all possible.
For official raffle rules and complete details on how you can win this Joe Madden signature vehicle, go to fieldsauto.com.
It is an honor for Fields Auto Group to help good causes like Cubs Charities and Misericordia. Fields matters because you matter.
The Chicago Cubs are in the World Series, and Wrigleyville Sports is the place for all your official gear. World Series t-shirts, sweatshirts, and the official locker room cap worn by the team. Champagne not included. Pins, flags, collectibles, and toys for Cubs fans of any age. Everything you need to celebrate the Cubs' first pennant since 1945. Visit our store across from Wrigley Field or WrigleyvilleSports.com now.
Welcome to the Apt Showroom, one of the top appliance retailers in the U.S. Explore our full line of Thermador appliances that will inspire and empower you to imagine design and bring to life your dream kitchen. Our team of product experts will work with you, your builder, and designer from the very first sketch to the very last detail. Discover how Thermador is personalized to the way you cook and bring the ingredients of entertaining to life. Visit us at Apt, pleasing people since 1936.
You always do this. You had a couple of pops in you and got cocky. Who's up for a game of wing roulette, you said? Because you thought it'd be funny to watch one of your friends get stuck with the hot one. But your friends, they got teriyaki, then spicy garlic, and then Asian zing. And now you're looking at the last one and you're thinking, my God, what have I done?
In Chicago, some things just go together.
like front porches and blue W's, bricks and ivy, Waveland Avenue and souvenirs, Jake and State Farm. Like home and auto insurance with State Farm, they just go together, and they save you time and money. Just another way we're here to help life go right. Talk to a State Farm agent today.